Welcome back to Behind the Gloves. I'm Gaz Singh. I'm joined all the way from Calgary in Canada by 2-0 prospect Bree Howling. How are you, Bree?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Before we start, obviously this is the first time you've been on the channel. It's the first time I'm speaking to you. How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's?
As good as it could be, being locked inside, but we were able to see our family, so it was nice to be with my family because last year, obviously, my dad has cancer.
Okay.
Last year he was in the hospital, so this year we actually got to be with him. So that was really, really nice to be with the family over the holidays.
Oh, it's a lovely sentiment. Family's always a good thing. It's always nice to spend time with your family.
hmm
Um, right, so like I said, you're 2-0 prospect. You're based in Calgary. Uh, you've not been on our channel before. Tell me a bit about yourself. Tell me about your amateur background. What got you into boxing? Who are your heroes? Just a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Um, so I'm probably not like the usual. I don't have an amateur background in boxing. So I went straight to the pros. I did have an amateur background in Muay Thai, however. I fought when I was probably between 16 and 19 years old in Muay Thai, and then took 3 years off, and then I went straight into the pros in boxing. Um, I My hero is Katie Taylor. I absolutely love her and I want to emulate her style. And I think I have a lot of the aspects that she brings to the ring, the speed, a little bit of the swagger. So she's a big inspiration for me and someone that I'm trying to follow in the footsteps, not only in the way that she fights, but the way she carries herself in and out of the ring.
Right. Like you said, you've got a background in Muay Thai, but why
Mhm.
boxing of all sports? Why not continue with Muay Thai or continue maybe down the MMA route? But why boxing? What motivated you?
Right.
What motivates you now to 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 be a pro and carry on?
For me, I was out of Muay Thai for a couple of years, like I said, um, and I kind of stopped myself and asked myself, why am I not fighting right now? Why am I not training and competing in my peak? Um, and I think I had closed the door on Muay Thai in a certain respect, and wanted to find like a new challenge and play up to my skills. I always had really great hands as a Muay Thai fighter. Um, and at the time, obviously, boxing has been on the rise for females. So I made the decision not only for myself and my skills, but based on business. Like, what a better time to get into female boxing when obviously it's getting more press, it's getting more respect, more backing. Um, so I also made the decision to hop in now and try to be part of the wave.
So, what are your career aspirations? Obviously, you're 2-0. Say 2021 now. What do you want to accomplish this year? What are your short term goals?
Well, this year, obviously, I haven't fought since last year. Um, I'm hoping that I can get over 4 fights this year. Just be really, really busy. I've been training the whole time, so there's no reason to not be ready for that. Um, by the end of the year, I'd like to be at least 6-0. Hopefully, maybe 8-0 if I can get 6 fights. I just don't know if that's possible. Um, and potentially be in the running to go for a national title by the end of the year.
So, do you want to do it the conventional route, then win like you said, like a national title and test yourself at that kind of level before you move on to world honors? Because, like you said, female boxing is on the rise. It's getting more attention now than it's ever done previously, and there's a
Right.
lot of contenders, especially in the category that you fight in, which we'll move on to a bit later, around bantamweight, super bantamweight. That
Mhm.
some of the ladies are getting title shots at their seventh pro fight, their eighth pro fight. Is that something you would like to excel towards, as in trying to accomplish that as quick as you can, or stick to the conventional route? I think that's a question I was trying to ask.
I think it's going to be a natural progression if the opportunity presents itself. Obviously, like you said, for females, you see those world title shots much earlier or with a much more limited resume than in male fighting for boxing. Um, so if it was at that stage where I was 7, 8, 9-0, and that was the time that I had a world title shot. I would, of course, be ready and be excited to go for that. Um, I don't really have a set plan of, oh, I'm gonna make sure I get a national title first. I'm gonna do this and all of that. My focus as the athlete is to just train as hard as I can, be ready for what's coming next, and if the opportunity is there, then I need to take it and I need to perform as well as I can.
So obviously, well, I came across you because I was looking online just at normal boxing news like we all do, and I came across obviously that they'd signed Eye of the Tiger management had signed you. They're probably one of the biggest promotional or managerial outfits across Canada. They manage
Mhm,
fighters like Arslan Beck Makhmadov, uh, Eric Bazignan. I think I've got his name right, and I know
mhm.
that everybody's quite familiar with him. David Lemieux, a former middleweight world champion.
Right.
Um, so what a great team to sign with. Tell me about your relationship with them and how that deal came about.
So one of my sparring partners, actually probably my closest training partner, is Steve Claggett. He's also signed with Eye of the Tiger. Steve and I have only really been kind of working as a team since last year. Obviously, I've only been in it for just over a year, so um, he's been such a great resource for me in training, and he also was a resource for me to kind of get eyes from Eye of the Tiger. Um, so within that relationship, they were able to view me, um, my training, get to know more about me behind the scenes, the kind of athlete and person I am. And I guess that piqued their interest. And in the last month, we kind of wrapped things up, and now I'm signed with them, which is super, super exciting. And I couldn't have signed with a better team, because I mean, I've had many offers from across Canada and even outside of Canada, and I waited because I knew what I wanted, and it was to sign with Eye of the Tiger. So it was really lucky and fortunate for me.
How excited are you about your future with them?
Um, I'm excited because I know that I'm going to be taken care of, and that I'm with a group that can put me in the places that I want to be in. Um, so I guess that's just a peace of mind kind of thing. So.
So moving on to the weight that you fight at. So you're around the bantamweight and super bantamweight limit for those that don't know, and what we spoke before this started, and you're open to opportunities.
Mhm.
The bantamweight division across the world is quite a hot scene at the moment. As in, I know you've just started on your career and you want to accomplish your own goals and whatnot, but you've got the likes of Shannon Courtney over here in the UK, 6-1. She'll
Right.
be Rachel Ball, 7-1. You get Ebony Bridges across in Australia. There's a large variety of fighters in the bantamweight division, especially for females. Do you feel that you can contend with these guys? I know I don't want you to feel like you're getting ahead of yourself or anything like that. But is that the sort of company you want to be mentioned in? And those are fights that you want to work towards?
I mean, you always want to be mentioned among the top fighters in your weight class, and I've watched a lot of tape of all of those fighters. Um, when I made the decision to go pro like a year and a half ago, I I had to weigh a couple of different things to make this decision. Of course, without an amateur background, and one of the reasons why I decided to just jump in the deep end was because I knew that I could hang out with these people, and obviously without any experience in boxing before, I knew that I was pretty good already. So that was one of the reasons why I feel even now, obviously a year and a half later, I could I could contend with that group. Maybe not yet, but give me a year or two, and I'll be there for sure, without a doubt. Um, but yeah, I mean, they're inspiration as well. I get to watch and learn from them, and um, I guess I'll have a lot of time to look at some tape and be ready to fight them in a year or two.
Does that excite you talking about it, being fighting those guys?
It's kind of unreal, if I'm honest, to talk about it, because usually, I mean, I'm fighting local fighters, or I'm fighting somebody who's um, kind of never been heard of before. So to be talking about fighting the actual best and the top, and for it to be a realistic goal is an exciting and proud moment for me, really.
So what's your training situation like? Who's your trainer at the moment? Who's looking after you? And has the COVID situation affected your training much?
So my coach is his name is Jared Velasquez. He has his own gym and business called Amplified Athletics, and he minds me for boxing and strength and conditioning. I've also got a nutritionist and some other people on the team, luckily. Um, in terms of the training situation right now, it's me in a 550 square foot apartment with an air bike and some dumbbells. And obviously, I can go outside and get road work in and such. But um, it has been tough the last month just because they fully locked down the gyms before I was able to go and get in and do work with Steve and such. So yeah, there's no end in sight either. They haven't said when gyms will open back up. So I'm basically in training camp right now, just doing what I can in the apartment. But I've been training for the past year as hard as I could, and I've had no fights. So it's just day to day to day. You just keep working on it, and right now I can just focus on my mental training more than anything, and that's I think more important at the moment because I'm already in fight shape.
So you said obviously there's no sight, there's no end in sight there.
Mhm.
Have the Tiger given you any sort of insight into when they might be holding their next event or when you might be out next?
Yes. So we're in talks about March in Mexico for my debut with them. So technically, I'm already in training camp right now, and I'm hoping once we have a date, I can fly out to Mexico and get some training in properly. Um, but I mean, if I don't even have that opportunity and I just have to fly out there the week of the fight, I'll still be fine. So
Any plans of fighting in the UK?
I'll go anywhere, honestly. I think it would be, I've never been to the UK before, so it would be an exciting experience to be in front of a new crowd and expand my horizons, as they say. So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, Bree, this has been a great introduction. Well, I think it has, and thank you for taking time out to kind of speak to us. Before we kind of wrap this up, have you got a message for your fans, your supporters, even your haters, people that might be watching this now?
Um, yeah, I mean, I've had people in my corner from the very beginning that have supported me and driven me to go for these dreams that I've had. And I mean, my team and my sponsors. I'm just really, really lucky. I'm living my dream right now, and it only is going to get better. So, thank you to everybody, and I can't wait for everyone to watch me and to make my country, my city, my family, my supporters proud.
Well, thank you. Let everybody know where they can follow you as well, man.
You can follow me on Instagram at Bree.Howling, and that's pretty much all my social media.
Something's better than nothing, eh? But
Yeah.
for joining us, Bree. We wish you the best of luck in 2021, and hopefully, when you have some fight news, we'll catch up with you then, and hopefully later on in the year too. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Gaz. Have an awesome day.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else